to start with René Lorzou from the Sucrier Publishing House in Martinique. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be with you today for this session. For those who don't know me, I am René Lorzou. I am based in Martinique, and I am the head of the Sucrier Publishing House that was created in 2018. On the screen, you can see the first book that I wanted to present. It's called Tis and Métis. It's in 4 languages: French, Spanish, English, and Martinique local language. We're in, well, the Caribbean area, and we have these 4 main languages that are very spoken. And, well, we are also quite isolated. We don't have that many French speakers. That's why it's important, actually, for me to have a version of this book, also in French. And it's also something that comes from a request from the teachers in school. We have many programs in school that I strengthened. And we also have the national education in French that requires a compatible approach of languages to support children when learning new languages. So this album was written by this author coming from France and Cyprus. Her name is Karine Petevi. I think she's on the call with us. Yes. Hello. And Anti-Semitism is the story of an encounter, of a dialogue of 2 very different birds. And, well, one is completely white and the other is multicolored. It's very colorful. So it's about the acceptance of the other, of their differences. And Métis has so many colors in because of his many travels. And the first travel he did was a travel that got him the color blue, and the color blue was through his travel in Martinique. So it's this idea of traveling, of accepting differences and accepting differences. There's, well, the colors are gorgeous, really. So it's very bright and colorful for the youngest ones, and for the older for the children, it's very interesting because it's a dialogue throughout the different travels of these 2 birds, and it's a very nice story to read out loud also. So this book was published in January 2024. It's format 17 by 24. It's a big cover and rigid cover, and 36 pages.
Merci beaucoup, René-Laure, pour cette présentation.
Thank you very much, René-Laure, for this presentation.
Marie-Michel, je te laisse.
Now I will give the floor to Marie-Michel.
Oui, bonjour à tous. Donc, je suis Marie-Michel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marie-Michel Razafin Salama. I am head of the Jeune Malgache Publishing House in Madagascar, and we are celebrating our 7 years of our existence today. And today I would like to introduce you the book Velangara et la mer. It's a bilingual book in French and Malagi. It's written by a very famous author in Madagascar, Hariko Amisa Rantia. And this book was published in May last year. It's a story to raise awareness with children about environment protection. We don't have so many books on this topic in Madagascar. And if I try to resume this, to summarize the story, it's the story of Velangera. He's a fisherman, but each day the amount of fish caught is decreasing. And well, he's trying to provide food and school supplies for his girls. But there's a lot of storms happening in Madagascar, and
Donc, en discutant avec son fils, Marulung,
and
Velung,
well, and rising waters. So
comprend que
he talks with his child, with his son, and then he understands that, well, the sea is angry actually because men are not respecting the ocean and the fishes. And also in Madagascar, on the coastlines, people defect on the coast and also throw their waste on the beach. That's why the author decided to raise awareness to the population, because if we keep disposing wastes and
on va aussi contaminer les poissons.
it's a lot of pollution on the coastline. It's polluting the waters and the fishes that, well, the people need to have food, and that's why we decided to publish this book. It's a square format, 23 by 23. It's 20 pages and has gorgeous illustrations.
Et c'est un livre destiné aux enfants de 7 ans.
It's a book that targets 7 years olds. We can sell the rights for the translations, but we also have to sell the rights in French because it's a bilingual book in French and Malagasy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Marie-Michel, for this presentation. Just a short reminder for the people who are joining us. We have interpretation services today available. So you can choose your preferred language, French, English, or Spanish, and you just have to click on the globe icon at the bottom of your screen. It should be at the bottom right of your screen. Do not hesitate to let us know if you are facing any technical issues.
Service offered by professional interpreters. You can choose French, English, or Spanish with an icon which is at the right bottom of your screen. Et j'en profite aussi pour rappeler et pour remercier les interprètes et pour vous demander donc.
I'd like to thank the interpreters, and as a reminder, do not speak too fast, and do not forget to turn off your mic when you are not speaking. Thank you very much. Let's keep going. Nidia.
Good morning, everybody. I am Nidia Foundes Aguilar, and today I have Alejandra Salina Varas, who is the designer of our stories. I am the author of this book, and I am also the legal representative. Our stories speak about traditions, legends, and customs of our countries, of our peoples. We live in a part of the country which is nearby other countries, and we speak about the Andes. Our books are 2020 and they are designed in full color. We write them in Spanish. Some of them are also in English, and we have bilingual stories. We have also some books with native languages, such as Ainara, which is a language from my hometown. These stories are part of the reading programs of my region, Arica. And two of our books have been selected this year for the National Library of the Ministry of Education in Chile. The stories that have been translated into English have been translated by teachers of the university, and they follow a specific technique respecting indigenous languages. That way, we can bring the readers to the story and they can be immersed in the story. Right now, you see El Nacimiento de Angelita, which is a bilingual book. The book tells the story of ancestral practices of traditional medicine linked to conception, the care of women during pregnancy, the moment of birth, and the burial of the placenta. All of these are actions that are part of our traditions. In the book, you'll find how women are assisted by other expert women. These women always guide and accompany pregnant women. Through the book, we wanted to give a new value to these traditions when it comes to preserving beliefs, cultural traditions, etc., that are the basis of Indian peoples. We have other books in English or in Spanish, and there are also some books in a bilingual format. Thank you very much for listening to me today.
Merci beaucoup, Lydia, pour ta présentation. Luna, je te laisse la parole.
Thank you very much, Nidia, for your presentation. Now, Luna will give you the floor. Thank you very much. My name is Luna Granada, founder of La Tatailleur Publishing House. We are based in Saint-Denis, close to Paris and France. And today I'd like to present you the book, The Night Falls, Mom Dreams, that I co-wrote with Cécile Dumoutier. She is also a singer and comedian. And the illustration was done by Eve Gentilhomme. And she is quite a famous illustrator in the sector of independent publishing. It's her second book. So the story is about a small boy that imagined what her mom is doing when she dreams and sleep. It's a book that talks about, well, the mental load, the importance of resting, of taking time for yourself. And it's a book also for the moment of going to bed for children. And we had very positive feedback on this book coming from children and also from parents. So it's actually our best seller. And it gained also media coverage. It's a book that conveys very important social values, but in the meantime, in a very soft, sweet environment. And there's a contrast between the text, what is written, the voice of this young boy thinking about his mom, and in terms of illustration, there's all the parents' task, all the chores that one has to do when the children are asleep. And there's also this, well, the world of dreams. That's quite fascinating. So we really like this book. It's very colorful. There are a lot of details that children actually enjoy to notice on each page. It's a book for 2 or 3 years old, but we also have feedback from parents that read this book to even toddlers. And well, this book can also, well, be read by 8 years olds because there are several levels of reading. It's a 52 pages book. It's a rigid cover and it was published in 2020. And there was a third book called Side by Side, done with the same three author illustrator. And so in this book, it's only one mom and her young son, and in the other book, it's the mother and her small daughter. It's also interesting to see in, well, this children literature and in children's book, well, a representation of a mother being alone and taking care of her children. And it's not something negative or sad. It's quite colorful and positive. And I believe that this book can actually be very easily exported to other countries. It conveys very universal values. Thank you very much, Luna, for your presentation.
Alors, je ne sais pas si Manuel des éditions Invertido,
I'm not sure if Manuel from the Invertido Publishing House is here with us, or is someone from the team, maybe.
je propose qu'on continue. Et peut-être
If not, I suggest that we move on to the next presentation, and Manuel will join us later.
Émilie.
Emily?
Alors, Émilie, est-ce que...
Emily?
Alors, on ne vous entend
Oui,
pas.
est-ce que vous m'entendez bien?
Yes,
Ah
can
oui,
you
c'est
hear
bon.
me?
Voilà.
Yes,
Mes
great.
excuses. Bonjour à
Okay,
tous.
sorry about
Je
that.
suis très heureuse
Hello,
de
everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you to present you a book called
Pays des Rennes.
Yuko
C'est un
and
livre d'un auteur dont le pseudonyme il est
called
plus
Yuko in
connu
the Land of
sous son
Reindeer.
pseudonyme et
It's
Uluro Ado.
written by a
En fait, un
Mongolian
petit
author called
qui
Uluro
se trouve
Ado,
encore aujourd'hui au nord-est
and
de la Sibérie.
he represents
Ils sont
the
très peu
Yukagir
nombreux
people
aujourd'hui
that lives
à
in north of
parler
Siberia. There are
langue.
very few speaking this language. I think roughly 30 of them. And this book is very important because it talks about a young boy experiencing his life and his community in the wilderness. He's part of a community of people that live with reindeers. He has a dog, two dogs actually. He learns how to fish, how to hunt, and how to respect nature. For example, when he goes looking for eggs, or eggs from wild geese, for example, he learns that, well, he always needs to leave one or two eggs behind, and same from the other animals. It's a book that has a very nice sense of humor, and I discovered it a few years ago when I traveled to Siberia. It was written 50 years ago by the author that is still alive today. I think the author is 88 years old, and he created the first alphabet book for his people at a time where even the Russians thought that the Yukagir people went extinct. So it's a translation that I did with the intention of having this book known throughout the world. It's part of a collection called Nordic Youth. We have another book that talks about Mongolia.
Faire découvrir à
And
travers
the idea is that through novels or short stories or illustrated books, we can, well, explain very different cultures from ours. I believe that, well, this you might like this book. It's a book that's great for kids that are between 8 and 10 years old. It was presented in many schools in the framework of school programs or school projects, and where French pupils would have to tell their own story about their daily life and
Voilà.
send a letter to children living somewhere else, somewhere in a faraway country. So feel free to get in touch with the Borealia Publishing House, and I would be very happy to get in touch with you.
Merci beaucoup, Émilie, pour cette présentation.
Thank you very much, Emily, for this presentation.
Mitya, je te laisse la parole.
Mitya,
Alors, il me semble que c'est pas
the
forcément
floor
Mitya
is
qui est là,
yours.
qui va présenter.
I think you will introduce maybe another book from the one that's on the screen, but I'll let you tell us more.
Mitya, ah oui, d'accord. Alors, Mitya, ton micro est coupé, on ne t'entend pas.
Mitya, I think your mic is off. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Can you see my
Excuse-moi,
slide?
je me permets de juste de préciser que c'est
And
un titre par maison d'édition.
just as a small reminder, it's only one title per publishing house. We don't have more time for us. We don't have enough time for several titles, so just one
Okay,
title.
okay. No problem, no problem. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see perfectly.
Okay, thank you so much. So I am Nitya Osman. I am from Bangladesh, based in Dhaka, our capital. So our publication is the children book publication, mainly focused on picture books. We do mainly picture books. So one book I like to show is this book, Babelica. It's actually a father and his daughter. This is a relationship them. And when his daughter is going to born, he starts sketching his book, his her everyday life, how she's getting born, then how she's doing all her activities. So he start sketching. So this is the illustration. Um, so it's a black and white book, a little like it's three books kind of, and it shows it has three books. So now it has become a three-book series, and so we are getting a lot of love for this book. Mhm. Like you can see here, people are start also coloring here. As it is a black and white book, we didn't intend to do the color, but children buy and they start do the coloring. And so see, look, people are watching and reading. So yeah, and this is a lovely relationship between the uh, father and her daughter. So the father and daughter, they are architects. She is the architect and are also illustrator. So this is them. He also do all kind of illustration, and he is a very esteemed illustrator in our country right now. And this book is also published in Greek. So we can't. We generally do the swapping, right? So the exchange of rights. So we can take one book and then other publisher do another book. So this is like this. So another book which I think this one was there. This is one of my favorite book, the Ghost of Fire. This is our country's landscape, and there is a story between brother and sister, how they are finding out the story, the ghost story kind of. So this is a lovely one. Look. So, and also this one is also going to publish in soon in Finnish. So this is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Mitya.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mitya.
Hello.
Mariana, je te laisse la parole.
Mariana, you can take the floor now if you want.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mariana. I'm from Brazil, from Palas Editora. Palas is an independent publishing house who celebrates next year 50 years old. And I brought to you this book called O Jardim de Algodão in Portuguese. In English, it could be something like the Garden of Cotton. And this is a story, just cancel here, appeared a message. This is a story about a loving reception of diversity The protagonist has a dream in the book, and his dream is embraced by his whole family. So, well, I should give you the spoiler because otherwise you wouldn't understand the story. The whole plot of the story, what is important in the story, and that is revealed in the end of the book, is that the protagonist is a boy, and the dream of this boy is to wear a dress. So it is all covered with beautiful illustrations and full of love and caring. And the story doesn't decide whether the boy has this book is not a sexuality book about choosing what is the boy wants to be in his adult life. It's just that we shouldn't have prejudice about what is boy or girl's things and what a child wants to do or to realize when he's a child. So this is the book.
Merci beaucoup, Mariana, pour ta présentation.
Merci à tous.
Laetitia, je t'ai vu arriver. Je te laisse la parole.
Laetitia, I saw you. You can go.
Do you listen to me well?
Parfaitement.
Okay. So today I'm presenting A Man in a Hole. I'm also from Brazil, from Boitatá. Actually, Boitempo is the publisher, but our children's seal is Boitatá. And A Man in a Hole is a book with the text by Antonio Gramsci and illustrations by Raíssa Fontana. This is an illustrated adaptation from a text originally written by the proletarian writer Lucien Jurin. And this book opens up vertically and tells the story about a man who was walking in the streets and then falls into a hole, and he starts screaming for help for everyone that is passing by. He asks for the help of the scientist that doesn't help him because he's ignorant, and then he starts explaining the gravity. Then he asks for the help of a peasant, and the man criticizes him because if he was working, he would not fall into a hole. And of an artist that tells him to look into the situation differently. And then he asks for the help of a priest that is in a hurry for a mass, so he doesn't help him either. And then he starts realizing that the hole is not so deep and he can get out of the hole by himself. So he escalates and gets out of the hole by himself. So I guess it's a beautiful book to be read, not only as a book about depression, but also for me as a manifest for the importance of the independence of thinking, which should not depend on art, on work, on religion. We should always have independence. And it's also a book selected for the Bra Amazing Bookshelf 2024 in Bologna. And yeah, that's it.
Merci beaucoup, Laetitia, pour ta présentation.
Merci.
Thank you very much, Laetitia, for your introduction of this
Rennes, je
book.
te laisse la parole.
Ren, the floor is yours.
Merci beaucoup.
Yes, thank you very
Alors,
much.
mon nom, je ne sais pas si vous me voyez. Vous me
I don't know
voyez?
if you can see me. Can you see me?
Très bien.
Yes, we
Ouais,
absolutely
vraiment
can.
très bien. Parfait.
D'accord. Mon
Perfect.
nom, c'est Ren Goyebert. Je suis responsable du volet éducation
So I am
de la
Ren
publishing house Akomamba.
Gounyobe. I'm
Donc, l'édition
responsible
Akomamba, c'est une maison
for the
d'édition
publishing house
spécialisée dans la littérature
Akomamba.
pour enfants.
So
Elle
we
a
are
commencé dans la bande
specialized
dessinée, donc la
in
lecture de bande
children's
dessinée
book,
depuis 30 ans déjà. Et elle est
and
la seule
we
en
started
Afrique
working
centrale.
30 years
Donc,
ago. We're
je vais
the
vous
only
présenter
publishing
comment
house
ça
of this
commence
kind in Central Africa.
qui
So this book
est
is
issu d'une vie
called
mortelle. Donc, le livre
The
en question, c'est
Moon
un livre de jeunesse, un roman de jeunesse
The Moon Histories. So it's a children's book, as I've said. It was published last year in French and in English. It's based on traditional African stories that transport us in different stories full of metaphors and symbols. We explore themes like treason, love, jealousy. It's also about a deep thinking on human values and the values of our societies. So these stories are based on the African traditions, or at least Central African traditions, and they share with us a unique vision of the world with very interesting stories. Also, this could be adapted into other mediums like video games or TV series. So you have the character of Tibor Reinhardt in the book that is ambitious and complex, and in one of the stories, he sees that his life changes because he starts building these magical drums and he becomes corrupted. And so children reading this will be invited to reflect upon the consequences of their actions. So this is about the moon, this is about the stories that might be hidden in the skies, the night skies. And everyone as a child probably loved to listen to their grandmothers telling them stories. And this book is all about this. It's this kind of magical moments that we try to share again with this book. So the author is going through these universal values such as friendship, respect, love of your family. The illustrations are also very good, and they can allow us to go into this dreamy realm of the moon stories. This is something we can share in a family with the adults and also the children. I believe that this can become a classical book for children's book in Africa. So I'm open for any suggestion. Any people who would want to collaborate can contact me. And also I can tell you that this book was also adapted for the West African market. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, friend, for your presentation.
Alors, je crois que ce n'est pas Gabriela, mais c'est Graciela qui représente les éditions Nubifero, si je...
So I think we will have Graciela for the Nubifero publishing house. Is that
Hello,
right?
can you hear me well? Great, thank you. Good morning, I'm Graciela. I'm the publisher from Nubifero Ediciones, and I would like to introduce the book that you can see on the screen. It's the story of Julio Cortázar. The title is La Despedida, Goodbye. So the writer Julio Cortázar is the one that you can see on the cover of the book, and it's a story told by images. So in these images, we tell a story of his life and his work. The story sets in this evolution of this work since he leaves Buenos Aires until he arrives France. It talks about his personal life, its growth as a writer, and within the drawings that we have, we can see many of his work. For example, Los Conejos, the rabbits, the boat that took him for his immigration. So Mike Facetta was the illustrator. He's from Argentina, and he gathered all the work from Julio Cortázar and turned them into images. And at the back of the book, you can see the references to the different texts of Julio Cortázar. We have a graphic novel without a text. The idea was to start a collection of graphic model. We normally focus in books for children and youngsters, but this type of novels are one of the things that we wanted to do. And La Despedida, Goodbye, is part of the series that we would like to do. So Julio Cortázar is an author that is well known around the world. He is a reference from Argentinian literature. And this type of book is interesting for different type of writers, for example, for the children to connect with their work, and even for adults who enjoy this type of graphic novels. It makes many references to different references in Argentina, the Luna Park for boxing, the Avenue Corrientes, many places that he visited. So this story doesn't have a text, but it's very interesting. And the references that we have at the end could be easily translated to English or any other required language. I invite you all to know this graphic novel. I would like to thank you for this opportunity. The next speak from Julieta Mariatti from Argentina with El Libro de Lucas. She's not connected, but maybe I can also introduce it. I have it here because we work together with her. Thank you.
Si j'ai bien compris, tu présentes le titre d'après, c'est ça?
No te comprendo el francés, pero creo que me
I'm
dijiste.
sorry, I can't understand French. I believe that you're saying yes, that I can introduce the book.
Yes, you can show the next title.
Yes, okay.
Il n'apparaît pas sur le document parce qu'elle m'avait dit.
Don't have it on the document because Julieta told me that she wouldn't be able to come. So I removed it, but if you want to present this book to the others, you can do it.
Bien.
I can do it? Okay. It's here. Okay. Julieta Mariata is an Argentina publisher, and the editor's name is Amarte. It's focused more on pre-teenagers, those who have just finished primary school. So in the text that we have in this science fiction collection for children, we have different chapters, have short chapters. So the idea of these short chapters is to bring the readers a more accessible type of reading. In Argentina, we realize that readers are sometimes kind of lazy when reading something long. So the idea is that they can get used to it, they get used to reading longer books. We found the solution of short chapters. So we have an alien invention, it talks about adventures, and this family receives help to come out of a difficult situation. The idea of this Lucas connection is that it continues with other books, it shares the characters, but they have different independent stories. So this is for readers from 9 to 15 years old, and the characters are always teenagers, pre-teenagers that are in a family. They're always in an external environment. It could be, for example, an alien who helps or a pet who helps. And this series is thought for this kind of readers. I hope that you liked it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Graciela, for these two books. So Sandra, unfortunately, can't be here with us today. So Pedro, the floor is yours.
Merci. Bonjour à toutes et à
Thank
tous.
you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today. I am Pedro Nacencione. I'm the head of my publishing house that I created in 2018. And this book is Grand Rita and the Loi, Vodou Explained to Children and Their Parents. It was published by our publishing house. The authors are Kathleen Morris and Evans Wish. It's a book for children from 8 years old and after. This book addresses a need that Haiti kids might feel, which is to say the need to have books that open their eyes on their ancestral culture and on the beliefs that are deeply rooted in their families and their everyday life. The goal is to teach what voodoo is about. It's a traditional way of thinking, a spiritual tradition that comes from parts of Africa and that is also found in Haiti. We have illustrations that try to stimulate the imagination of children and readers with very vivid colors. So this is the story of a little girl. She lives in a city and she is forced to move away from town and she has to spend the summer in the countryside. As any child that grew up in the city, she has a number of stereotypes on the voodoo culture, and she asks questions to her grandmother during the whole book. And her grandmother, Grandrita, who gives her name to the book, will methodically explain to this little girl in all the most interesting details what voodoo is about. So this little girl, come out of it with another vision of voodoo, getting rid of cliches. She will discover in the everyday life that she shares in the countryside with peasants different facets of the voodoo reality that she didn't know about. And at the end of this stay at Grandrita's, she goes back home and she finds that her mother went back, her parents had back together because they were separated, and so she's very happy because her prayer helped her in this moment of trouble. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Et nous allons finir avec Nicolas.
And the final presentation is by Nicolas. So, good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm the last one, so I hope you still have energy left to listen to me. So, I work at Cot Publishing House. We're based in Brussels, and we've been working since 2011 on children's book. So, this is a book called Susie's Smile. It was republished 5 years after the original publication. It's a very important book for us that we want to defend. So the story is that of little Susie. It's not a child, who lost her little teddy bear or any other item. No, she lost her smile, which is more of a problem. So she creates herself paper smiles to show them to the adults. But the paper smiles are not the solution that is going to work because the wind is going to blow hard this day and all the paper smiles are going to be taken by the wind and destroyed. So little Susie is going to cry very hard and release all of her emotions, which creates a flood. But her parents are going to go and look after her because they are a good swimmer. They are going to take her in their arms and tell her, you know, we love you no matter what, whether you cry, whether you smile. You're Susie, our Susie, forever, and she will feel way better. So this is Susie's smile, Susie's story. So we really want to share this book because, as you can see, the way the book is illustrated is a bit different. It's not something very cute, very familiar, but we believe that it's interesting for us to work in this way because it makes sense in the context of what we try to say. In Bologna, we earned an award for these illustrations, and Anne Craley is actually a quite well-known woman in France and Belgium, and she received a number of awards. also the topic of being forced to smile, or being forced to be happy, was something we wanted to share with children. We believe it's very useful to do so when they are young. So Susie's Smile can be read by children from 3 to 6 years old, but also beyond. It's a book that was read a lot in schools also, because we developed pedagogical tools for teachers. And we believe that this book has been a huge success. It has been republished, as I've said. We sold all the copies in France and Belgium. And the great news is that this book is going to be translated into Chinese also, because both authors went to Taiwan, and so the rights of the book were bought there, along with another book of our publishing house. So we love this book because of the disturbing illustrations, the unusual illustrations. We love this book because we think it's a fundamental topic to address, and also it's a success for our publishing house, so we would like this book to be shared in other countries, other contexts, and other languages. So that's it. If you want to ask me any question, you can reach out to me later on. I share with you a link in the chat. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much, Nicola.